Good evening, one and all. On behalf of Dr. Agarwal's Institute of Optometry, I extend a warm welcome to each and every one of you for the brand new season of Optometry series. In this season, we're dealing with all the diagnostic instruments that is required for optometry and ophthalmology department. I'm very happy to welcome the moderator for the day, Ms. Radhika ma'am. Radhika ma'am, thank you so much for joining us as the moderator, ma'am. And I'd like to take this opportunity to thank my team members, Ms. Anshika ma'am and Ms. Nancy. Hi, both of you. Thank you so much for joining and thank you for your continuous support.
Thank you.
So, yes, over to Dia now. Dia, please introduce a moderator in detail.
Yes, thank you, ma'am. Good evening, everyone. I am Diashri, studying second year Masters in Optometry at Dr. Agarwal's Institute of Optometry. It is my great pleasure to introduce our esteemed moderator for today's episode, Ms. Radhika ma'am. Radhika ma'am is an associate professor and a PhD scholar in vision science at Manipal Academy of Higher Education in Manipal. She completed her Bachelor of Optometry in 2013 and Masters of Optometry in 2015 from School of AHS in Manipal. Over the years, ma'am has developed a strong passion for pediatric vision care with a special focus of vision therapy and rehabilitation for children with special needs. Her dedication towards teaching, research, and clinical practice has inspired many students and professionals in the field of optometry. We are truly honored to have you, ma'am, with us today. Thank you so much for joining. The presenter today, thank you, ma'am. The presenter for today is Ms. Manasika, second year student in optometry at Agarwal Institute of Optometry. Manasika, you may please start your presentation.
Thank you, Dia. My screen is visible for you now.
Yes, Manasika, please go ahead.
Yes, visible.
Good afternoon, everyone. This is Manasika, pursuing Masters of Optometry in Dr. Agarwal's Institute of Optometry. I'm going to explain about instrumentation and optics of slit lamp biomicroscope. A small introduction about the slit lamp. It is an optical instrument with high intensity illumination and it helps to visualize three-dimensional anatomical details of ocular adnexa as well as anterior segment. We can also visualize posterior segment with the help of plus 90D or plus 78D lenses. Additionally, accessory lenses can also be used with the slit lamp to view other ocular structures. There are three essential parts in slit lamp. One is observation system, illumination system, and the last one is mechanical support system. Coming to observation system, it is in compound microscope. It has two lenses, objective lenses and the eyepiece lenses. In objective lens, it has two plano convex lenses with a total power of plus 22 diopter. In eyepiece lenses, it has a power of plus 10 diopter. It gives good stereopsis and the tube also converges at 10 to 15 degrees. And slit lamp also has a pair of prisms. The primary function of a prism is to re-invert the image given by the objective and the eyepiece lenses. The magnification range between 6x to 40x in the slit lamp, and there are two different types of magnifications are there. One is Zapskioscope with rotating objective, and another one is Littmann Galilean telescopic principle. Zapskioscope is an ancient and frequently used technique. It is placed in a turret type of arrangement. It is very easy to change the magnification during the examination. And this model is usually seen in hack straight and Bosch long type of slit lamps. Littmann Galilean telescopic principle is used in a small internal telescope. It consists of one positive and one negative lenses placed between the objective and the eyepiece. Both work together to provide different levels of magnification with a wider and brighter field of view, and it also gives better depth perception, and it also allows smooth and switching of magnification. This model is usually seen in Zeiss type of slit lamps. Coming to second essential part of slit lamp is illumination system. Light is emitted from the filament and it is absorbed by the condenser lens and passes through the variable width and variable height control. Then it reaches the filter. It projected to the projection lens. After touching the mirror, it reflected to the patient eye. The most commonly used light source is nearness lamp, followed by nitra lamp, arc lamps, mercury vapor lamps, and halogen lamps. It gives the illumination of 2 into 10 to the power 5 to 4 into 10 to the power 5 lux. There are two plano-convex lenses which is placed opposite in direction in the condenser lens. And slit lamp has two knobs to adjust height and width of the slit, and it also has different kinds of filters. The most commonly used filter is cobalt blue and green filters. Projection lenses helps to form the image of a slit. The diameter of the lens is usually small and it reduces the aberration of the lenses. It gives better quality of the image and also increase the depth of focus. Coming to optics, it works on the polar illumination technique. Light source is emitted from the filament with a high intensity and it is absorbed by the collector lens. The collector lens is to collect the diverging light and convert them into a controller beam. Then it reaches the field aperture. Field aperture which is placed at the focal plane of the condenser lens. It controls the size of the illuminated area, which it restricted the unnecessary light and improves the image contrast and reduce the glare. Then it reaches the condenser lens. From condenser lens, it projects the image of a slit to the slit aperture. Slit aperture adjusts the height and width of the slit. Narrow beam can be used to view the corneal layers and the wider beam can be used to view other ocular structures. Finally, a focused beam can reach the ocular tissues for the eye examination. This is the optics of the illumination. And there are different illumination techniques in slit lamp. Those are diffuse illumination, direct illumination, and indirect illumination. Under direct illumination, parallelepiped, optic section, conical, and specular reflection. Under indirect illumination, retro illumination, sclerotic scatter, and trans illumination. Illumination techniques are widely covered in the previous episodes of optometry series. So I am quickly moving to the next slide. A third essential part of slit lamp is mechanical support system. Under mechanical support system, joystick is to move the slit lamp near and far, side to side, and up and down to view the ocular structures clearly for the examiner. It also has a chin raised headband and table height is adjustable for the patient to see comfortably. Patient have to view the fixation target while the examiner examine the ocular tissues to avoid the movement of the eye. Binocular microscope and illumination system should coincide on the same axis to maintain the focus during the microscopic rotation. This is the mechanical coupling system and it is helpful for routine anterior segment examination. There are different types of slit lamps which are practicing in India, and I have listed out few of them. First type is Zeiss. It gives excellent contrast with a minimal light scatter. It enhances the optical clarity and the magnification range between 6x to 40x. Next type is Hack Straight. It is similar to Zeiss. It also gives excellent contrast. Additionally, it gives excellent edge definition to observe the fine details and the magnification range between 10x to 40x. Next type is Apasami. It works like a Galilean microscope design with a high quality of lenses. It provides excellent image clarity for routine examination and it has a good brightness of illumination with the magnification range between 10x to 40x. Next type is Topcon. Topcon is working like a Galilean binocular microscope. It enhanced light transmission with high brightness of illumination for clear visualization of ocular structures. It also has an excellent depth of focus for improved three-dimensional image perception. The illumination is bright and homogeneous across the field of view and the magnification range between 10x to 40x. Next type is 66 vision. It gives a high quality of stereoscopic visualization with an enhanced light transmission and it reduces the reflections of the light and it provides clear and high resolution stereoscopic imaging. Under illumination system, it reduces the bright and well-defined slit beam for detailed ocular examination. It provides adequate image contrast for the clinical assessment. And the magnification is range between 10x to 40x. There are different filters are incorporated in this slit lamp. Those are cobalt blue filter, green filter, gray filter, yellow barrier filter, and heat absorbing filter. Cobalt blue filter is always seen under this fluorescent stain. It highlights the epithelial defect and also demonstrates the size and shape of the epithelial defect in the conditions like corneal abrasion and corneal ulcer. And it is also used to measure tear breakup time, and it assesses lens fit in especially RGB lenses, and it also measure intraocular pressure using Goldman applanation tonometer. Second type is red free, which is nothing but green filter. This is usually seen in the areas are in red, just like blood vessels and hemorrhages. These are commonly seen in diabetic retinopathy, hypertensive retinopathy, retinal vein occlusion, retinal artery occlusion, and also enhances the visualization of retinal nerve fiber layer defects. Third is neutral density, also called as gray filter. It reduces the intensity of the illumination. We can use this filter for the patient with photophobia, anterior uveitis, and patient who cannot tolerate the bright illumination. We can go with neutral density. Yellow barrier filter, it is used after installing the fluorescent dye, usually with the cobalt blue illumination. This yellow barrier filter actually blocks the blue light and transmits green fluorescent light emitted by the fluorescent. This provides higher contrast. It is easy to identify the corneal staining as well as tear film abnormalities. It detects small areas of corneal epithelial damage and also detects aqueous humor leakage from the corneal tear. In the conditions like punctate epithelial erosion, it also used to assess the corneal epithelial layer after ocular surgery. Heat absorbing filter. It is also called as infrared filter, which is emitted by the slit lamp. It reduces the heat so that it improves the patient comfort during examination. It is used for routine eye examination as well as post-operative eye examination. As I previously mentioned, some accessory devices can also be used along with the slit lamp to view the ocular structures. First is gonioscope. It is used to identify the it is used to identify the anterior chamber angles and angle structures. And fundus examination can be done with the help of plus 90D or plus 78D lenses. Pachymetry is attached with the slit lamp to measure the corneal thickness. IOP can be measured by using Goldman applanation tonometer. Posterior capsular opacification can be done by using arc laser. Laser interferometer can be attached with the slit lamp to identify the potential visual acuity of the patient. And these are my references. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Manasa, for that wonderful presentation. I would now like to ask Ms. Radhika if she has any points to add on.
Okay, so what I wanted to say is, like, like, like retinoscopy, even slit lamp is very, very important. You knowing its basic optics as well as how it works, and also as she mentioned, what and all filters they use it. The knowledge about that is very much essential for an optometrist. Okay, so as she explained, there are different types of instruments. So she mentioned also about dry slit lamps. She mentioned about also hashtag slit lamp. So here, actually, we divide slit lamp based on the illumination system also. Like if you could see it in dry slit lamp, they have the illumination system which is actually positioned in the below of the instrument, whereas in hatch slit and all, it is in the top. Okay, so there are different type of illumination system also present in the slit lamp that actually, what we say, that depends on the company which they have. Most of Zeiss, which is there in the lower, but whereas in hashtag it is in the top. But whatever Manasika explains, she explained every detail of slit lamp. But as she mentioned about the filter, she told that it was discussed in the, not about the filters, as this it is about the illumination system, illumination techniques. She mentioned that it was being discussed in the previous, previous sessions. But other than that, I wanted to add two things. So she mentioned about the magnification. Is it mentioned? Did we discuss anywhere previous about the magnification? Hello,
Yes, ma'am.
am I audible?
Yes, you're
Yeah. Is
audible,
it
ma'am.
being discussed? Yeah. Is it being discussed about the magnification?
Magnification was discussed, but not very detailedly, I think. But yeah, she
Okay.
actually
Okay. So
mentioned about
basically,
all the magnification ranges available in all the slit lamps that is being discussed in this series.
okay. But even though the magnification it is available, but there are different magnification we use it for different viewing of the different structures. For example, low magnification we usually use it for lid and admixture, basically for any like for example any scales in the last year or anything we use it that thing. So, but she did not elaborate on that aspect. But otherwise, she mentioned, as you mentioned, she mentioned about the different types and the available magnification. I also want to mention over here, in the slit lamp, there are different type of magnification. You must be knowing about the low magnification, medium magnification, and high magnification. So, for example, now 7x to 10x we consider, that is for, as you mentioned, like diffuse illumination with low magnification. Basically, so it is helpful for reading lips, bulbar conjunctiva, cornea, tears, even tear film. Also, you can read through it. So there is something medium magnification that is 20x to 25x. So there you observe the individual layers like epithelium, stroma, endothelium, even for the contact lens stitch and all, they will use it. So that point you may need to add into the presentation. And even for high magnification, there is something epithelium, like you must be aware of that there is something called as optic section. So the optics test, I hope the illumination techniques were discussed in the previous session. When they discussed the previous session, I hope they must have discussed about the direct techniques as well as indirect techniques. In the direct technique, there is something called as optic section. In the optic section, when we weave the layers of the lens or weave the layers of the cornea, we use the high illumination and even the magnification we keep it. So sometimes high magnification, that's what, when we keep the high magnification, what we say, the clarity might not be so clear, but you will be able to read the deeper to deeper cells. Like you can even observe the endothelial cells. Like usually we have confocal microscope, but otherwise we can even read through the slit lamps. So that's how the magnification change is also need to be discussed in detail when we discuss with respect to this one. Am I audible, madam?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, you're audible.
Okay. So then she discussed something on principle or basically optics of it. So I guess she discussed about the IPs as well as you know just a hold on. Yeah. She discussed about the eyepiece, objective lens, and all. But I hope she also might have mentioned about, because I missed that particular part, mentioned about the importance of the prism in the basically in the instrument because as you mentioned, the slit lamp has the observation system, slit lamp has the illumination system, and also the mechanical system where actually all the accessories are present. So now coming to the illumination system, as I mentioned, there are different types of illumination. One is situated in the top, one is situated in the down. And even she mentioned also type of bulbs that is now available, but now mostly it is halogen bulbs are available or it is there in the slit lamp. But otherwise, she had also mentioned about the different bulbs over the period in the previous era, what they were using it. And one more thing she told about the observation system, as rightly she mentioned, it is a Galilean system which they have in most of the slit lamps. And also, I feel since you all have studied about the optics, you must be knowing about the eyepiece and basically objective lens, and between that the prism is present, so which will actually erect the image. So that is one part which was supposed to be explained in much detail. Um, Other than that, I feel she had explained every aspect, even the filter also she explained. So type of filters are used and type of filters for what it is used. Basically, cobalt blue filter, it should be used in case of K-conus also. In keratoconus in order to give the previous ring. Okay. So in case of RGP fitting, in case of contact lens fitting, why it is used, all that she has mentioned, even to measure the infiltrate, that is corneal infiltrate, all that she has highlighted. And one point I wanted to say with respect to the presentation, whenever somebody is doing a presentation, it is always a good practice to put sentences like a points. So basically, for example, Slit lamp, what is Slit lamp? Okay, and anything of that should be at least a slide should contain around 5 points. And those 5 points we need to explain. So in first two slides, what it was here, it was like a para. So basically, it will be difficult for to listen as well as to read the para. So that I wanted to highlight. Otherwise, as per my understanding, the way she presented very well. Okay, but she presented very well, and she had a knowledge about all the content of the split plan. And also, as she mentioned, I wanted, since it was not explained in detail about the, techniques, I wanted to ask during the presentation, but since you mentioned that it was being discussed previously, I guess all are aware of it. Other than that, I don't have any other concerns. Presentation wise, it is good. So if anything to be asked, anything to be explained, I guess you can keep it open. Otherwise, I am very happy with the presentation.
Yeah, thank you so much for your input, ma'am. Yeah, like she mentioned, it was there. And ma'am, we have a few questions here. So if
Okay.
you'd like to answer just two questions from our side,
Yes, yes,
it will be very helpful for us.
yes.
So the first question is, as a practitioner of slit lamp, what do you think are the limitations of slit lamp, ma'am?
The limitations, the thing is what now, so with lamp we can do it. So in the sense, all the whatever assessment is feasible, we can do it. But the problem for me, I basically face issues when we are going to do something like with respect to 90D or 70HD or even the junior lens, where you have to have a proper technique. You know that the retroillumination should be used. Retroillumination, that is, indirect technique has to be used in order to weave the structure. So, if you are not good at the techniques, then you will not be able to end up with what is required. So, I feel, first of all, we lack we lack in the instrumentation. The practice is required, but otherwise, actually, it is a very, very good essential, instrument for us, and every optometrist should know how to use it. Because of retinoscopy, we use it on daily basis, but this instrument, just like for example, in my practice, we have different sectors. Whereas in contact lens, or if you take an optal portion, we use it. Otherwise, we just depend on retinoscope. And now more people dependent on AR, but I say I would suggest that they use such instruments. Okay, so which because if you know flip lamp, if you know all the techniques of the flip lamp, I guess you can even find out any condition, even the straw whatsoever. Limitation, I would say the lack of knowledge and the practice. That's it. Knowledge, I won't say practice.
Thank you, ma'am. Another question is, how do you think we can reduce the aberrations when it comes to slit lamp, like the glare and aberrations and all of this?
what basically happens with respect to the glaring aberrations as per what I understand is if any imprintation is there on the lens, both the lens, your objective lens, basically saying it is a Galilean telescope, right? So the telescope or the microscope, sorry, microscope, whatever we say, because it's a binocular, if that is not clear, if that is not clean, as I said, the prism is also there inside and the mirror. If those things are not clear, definitely you will end up with some of the some of the disturbances while seeing the image. I mean, basically structures. Otherwise, basically speaking, calibration has to be done properly in order to reduce all these drawbacks. Aberration in the sense,
Thank you.
what with respect to the eye man or with respect to what we are speaking?
Uh,
Aberrations with respect to what?
no, while looking at the image, like how could you control all these aberrations that is happening with slit lamp?
So aberration in the sense, nothing but it is like the imprintation. So if there is any issue or the calibration. For example, you have various techniques, and you know that in the various techniques, like say in the various techniques, we know that there is a angle you have to keep the observation as well as the illumination system. So if there is
Yes.
any lag, for example, say there is something called as I mentioned, specular you have to weave the endothelium or say anything. So basically, which technique we can tell. Basically, consider this one, optic section. So, optic section actually is a direct technique. Okay, so it is not the indirect technique; it is a direct technique. So, basically, what you do, you have to focus on where you want to see, and the light also need to be focused onto the same structure. Okay, if it is focused on the same structure, I don't think so there will be any disturbance. But even when you focus, so there is a disturbance in the optics of the system will definitely induce aberrations. Otherwise, I don't think so of any of the problems will arise when you and one more thing is, as I said, practice is required, and also you should be knowing how to use it. If there is, and also in our places, we usually teach the calibration also certain times, but we have a person coming, but still, uh, those things, that's what, such conditions or such things can come up, so that we should be knowing how to tackle it.
Thank you, ma'am. So that's it from the question answer side. So now I would like to hand it over to Anshika, ma'am, to add more points to this presentation.
Yes, ma'am. Sorry for the disturbance because we have heavy rain over there. Sorry.
Thank you so much, Radhika. I understand the internet connectivity was not good, but still you managed to give us so much of inputs. So thank you, Manasika. It was a very good presentation as we were discussing about the optics. So you clearly brought about the importance of why or what is present in a slit lamp, from the projection lenses to the filters to the slits of variable width and the height contrast which are there in the condenser lenses. So whenever we are using an instrument, we should at least know what are the parts of the instrument and how are the lenses that are kept there and the optical diagram that you showed. So thank you so much, Manasika, for bringing it about. And thank you, Radhika, for adding on points on which illumination can be used to see which particular disease of the eye and how we should handle the instrument. So it was a good presentation, though we had some technical glitches here and there. But thanks to both of you. Over to you, Gomati.
Thank you so much, Sanchika ma'am, and thank you, Nancy, for the Q&A session. And Radhika ma'am, thank you so much for joining us as the moderator, ma'am. We would like to have you on
Yes,
another wonderful platform, ma'am. We'd like to host you on
yes,
once.
yes. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for the opportunity.
Yes, thank you. Thank you so much.
I wanted to add more points because I love this. I mean, this kind of discussions. I usually add, but the thing is, due to the network issues, there were some limitations. Sorry for that.
No, ma'am, we are it is completely understandable, ma'am. Actually, in the comment section, we'll be opening for Q&As. So we might be
Yes,
receiving some
ma'am.
questions from the audiences also.
Yeah,
We'll
yeah,
get
yeah.
back to you,
Yes,
ma'am.
yes. Sure. Thank you so much. Thank
Thank
you
you
for
so
the
much.
opportunity. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Best wishes, Manasika, for your future. It was wonderful, wonderful presentation. Thank you all for your continuous support towards Optometry series. I'd like to thank my team members, Nancy and Ranshika ma'am. Thank you, both of you, once again for joining with us today. And dear audience, if you like this video, give a thumbs up and share with all your friends. We'll meet you in the next episode.